Hello and welcome to another edition of Lurie's Furries, where you learn about animals, learn to pronounce your teacher's name. In this case, celebrate your teacher's birthday because it happens to be that. Yay! I'm not going to tell you how old I am because this is a rather public forum for that. But my birthday. Alright, I thought about doing something birthday themed, but there really aren't any animals other than Homo sapiens sapiens, that is us, that celebrate birthdays. So I had to put that aside. And also, if we look back at the previous couple of videos, 2 weeks ago I gave a shout out on Lurie's Furries to the 8th graders. Last week I gave one to the 7th graders. So to be fair, I should bring up the 6th graders this week, which is a little harder because they're not really learning about life science right now. They're learning about weather, and more specifically about energy transfer, conduction, radiation, and convection. So I wanted an animal on that theme. Now, pretty much all animals make use of heat transfer, and particularly of conduction and radiation. But there's only a few really specialized uses of convection going on. So here's what I think is one of the most interesting. So we begin. Kingdom Animalia. It's still a show about animals. Phylum Arthropoda. We're dealing with insects once again. So class Insecta. Arthropods could have also been crustaceans or arachnids, as you recall, but we're still dealing with insects because they tend to be the most fascinating. Order of this week's animal is Bladadea, which are the cockroaches and termites. So in particular, family Termitidae, termites, and our genus and species of this week's creature, Macrotermes natalensis. You notice there's no common name given. That's not rare to see when you're dealing with the smaller creatures of the world. So bacteria pretty much only have scientific names. Some of the smaller plants and animals likewise. As a general rule, when we don't have a common name to assign, we refer to an animal type by its genus name. So in this case, our animal for the week are the Macrotermes termites. So they're the largest of all termite species. Queens can grow up to 6 inches long. In the picture, you see rather smaller insects those are the workers of the termite colony, because termites, like bees, are social insects. They form large groups. You probably are most familiar with termites in general from exterminator commercials, because some species of termite can cause damage to houses, eating wood. Macrotermes do not do that. Instead, they're actually farmers. They just like humans, they grow crops to eat. Specifically, they cultivate various fungi species. They feed them with material they collect, of debris of various sorts, and because of fungi, as we know, are decomposers. So the termites gather debris, bring it into their nests, raise funguses, eat the funguses. So if you look at the picture there that's given, you can see the worker termites pretty clearly. Those round white things are little bits of the fungus that they're raising. Alright, so that's one very notable feature about the Macrotermes, that they're farmers. That's not an exclusively human behavior. The other thing that's really notable about them is their construction patterns. So Macrotermes live in huge mounds, which I guess are nests, but are really more grandiose than that. These are enormous structures for an insect to build. 10 feet tall, sometimes even as tall as 16 feet, and a similarly wide diameter at the base. So these are structures that would be big enough for a human to live in if you hollowed them out, but instead they're being occupied by a bunch of little termites, the biggest of which is 6 inches long, and so impressive building project by itself. And then, now here's the connection to 6th graders, convection. So, with such a huge mound, how how does the termites keep it livable? Well, they have a system of carefully dug channels all throughout the mound, and the fresh air and the temperature control are supplied by convection. So, some papers call it metaphorically termite air conditioning. It's not really air conditioning as we know it, because air conditioning is an active process with mechanical force, forcing the temperature and change in air movement. That's not what's happening here. This is exploiting the natural airflow that comes with the convective process of heat exchange. And so this is one microclimate, the termite mound, which is itself a striking example of the importance of convection. And of course, sixth graders will be learning about other important examples of that as they continue learning about the weather, which in large part is driven by convection. But first we have microtermite weather, or macrotermite, because these are big termites. So those are the really incredible facts about macrotermites. They have farming, they have air conditioning. They're basically humans, except that they're termites. Amazing, right? So sources, of course, because termites being so amazing and small and obscure, I actually had to do some serious research for this one. So in addition to Wikipedia, we have Termite Web, which is a whole website about different termites. Scientific American article discussing the air conditioning property of nests, and there's other journal article for chemical science. It's not directly relevant to the termite issue. It's more about the fungi that they grow, but it was useful for me because that was the source of the really great picture that I showed a couple of slides ago. So thank you for watching, and next week we probably won't have a birthday to celebrate, but we'll still have lots of animals to look into. So until then, have a great week. I know I will.